small coin, a mere 25 halalas, light in the hand, but heavy in meaning. This modest piece of metal, minted in the year 1438 AH, or 2016 AD in the Gregorian calendar, is more than just currency. It is a portal into Saudi Arabia's evolving economic identity, national symbolism, and the delicate intersection between tradition and modernization. At first glance, it's just another coin in someone's pocket, part of a system most people rarely think about. But look closer. The calligraphy, the design choices, the materials, even the year it was minted, each element tells a story. To understand the 25 halalas coin from 1438, we must explore more than numismatics. We need to walk through the history of Saudi currency, dig into the kingdom's economic reforms, and consider what it means to mint national identity in metal. Before the 25 halalas coin, before the rial became the face of Saudi commerce, there was a time of scattered currencies, diverse coinage, and a nation still forming its monetary identity. In the early 20th century, the Arabian Peninsula was a mosaic of currencies: Ottoman coins, British Indian rupees, and even Maria Theresa thalers from Austria circulated in the markets of Jeddah, Mecca, and Riyadh. These coins were brought in by pilgrims, traders, and colonial powers, each one reflecting a different chapter of foreign influence. But in 1932, when Abdulaziz ibn Saud unified the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he knew a strong and stable economy needed a standardized currency, and so began the journey of the Saudi rial. The Saudi rial was officially introduced in the 1930s, initially modeled on the Indian rupee due to its popularity in Gulf trade. But over time, Saudi Arabia developed its own decimal system, dividing the rial into 20 kirsh or 100 halalas, an echo of global decimalization trends. The halala, a subunit of the rial, was first introduced in coin form in the 1960s. It represented not just fractional value, but the government's push to modernize commerce and bring Saudi Arabia into alignment with international monetary norms. From early copper and nickel compositions to later cupro-nickel and plated steel, halalas evolved in both form and function. The 25 halalas denomination, in particular, became a staple, a convenient unit for small transactions, vending machines, and public transport fares. The word halal itself comes from the Arabic root, suggesting something small, yet complete. It's a beautiful linguistic nod to both minimalism and wholeness, a single coin, yet a fraction of a greater economy. The halala reflects how Saudi Arabia has balanced tradition with transformation, adapting to the needs of a rapidly growing population while maintaining the cultural and linguistic essence of its heritage. To understand the 25 halalas coin minted in 1438 AH or 2016 AD in the Gregorian calendar, we must place it within the historical and political currents of its time. This was not merely a year of minting. It was a year of transformation for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. By 2016, Saudi Arabia stood at a critical crossroads. On one hand, it was a kingdom built on the enormous wealth of oil. On the other, it faced the dawning realization that this singular reliance could no longer sustain its growing aspirations. In April of 2016, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman unveiled Vision 2030, an ambitious roadmap aimed at diversifying the Saudi economy, reducing its dependency on oil, and investing in public service sectors like health, education, tourism, and infrastructure. This vision wasn't just political, it was symbolic. It signaled a new era of modernization, national pride, and economic resilience. And with any economic reform comes a monetary response. Behind the scenes, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, SAMA, had already begun crafting changes to reflect the spirit of Vision 2030. This included the redesign and reissuance of various coins and banknotes. Global oil prices had dropped sharply from 2014 through 2016, falling below $40 per barrel. For a country whose budget was heavily reliant on petroleum exports, this created fiscal pressure. Subsidy cuts, tax reforms, and monetary adjustments followed. Among the economic reforms was the need to reassert the relevance of coins. In a society that had grown used to low-denomination banknotes, the government began phasing out lower-value paper bills, replacing them with longer-lasting coins, including a freshly minted 25 Halalas coin. The Islamic year 1438 AH was also marked by deep religious significance. Saudi Arabia, being the custodian of the two holy mosques, saw millions of pilgrims journey to Mecca and Medina during this year. The lunar Hijri calendar, used for religious observance, adds a second layer to Saudi temporal identity, making 1438 not just an economic turning point, but a spiritually significant moment in time. That duality between sacred tradition and modern economic reform is etched into the coin itself. When you hold a 25 Halalas coin from 1438 AH, you hold a fragment of both calendars, both histories, both futures. The year 1438 was a turning point, a chapter of bold decisions and quiet symbolism. The 25 Halalas coin, introduced in that very year, was not just currency. It was a reflection of a nation redefining its identity. Coins are more than metal. They are miniature monuments, carefully curated reflections of a nation's soul, struck not in stone, but in steel. The 25 Halalas coin, minted in 1438 AH or 2016 AD, is no exception. Every curve, every letter, every gleaming detail is a deliberate expression of Saudi identity, functionality, and tradition. On the obverse side, we find the denomination boldly stated in elegant Arabic script. 25 Halalas. Centered with clarity, it leaves no doubt about its value. Below the Arabic denomination lies the Gregorian year, 2016, while above sits the Islamic Hijri year. This dual dating, a uniquely Saudi feature, bridges faith and modernity, anchoring the coin in both temporal worlds. The coin's edge is reeded, not merely for tactile distinction, but as a subtle security feature, designed to prevent shaving or counterfeiting. It's a common global practice, yet one that adds texture to Saudi coinage. The reverse is where symbolism takes center stage. At the top, the words, "The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia," curve across the face in bold script, proclaiming the coin's origin. Beneath it lies the national emblem, a palm tree standing tall above two crossed swords. This emblem is rich with meaning. The palm tree represents prosperity and vitality, while the swords stand for strength, justice, and the unification of the kingdom under one rule. This symbol dates back to the 1950s, but holds even deeper roots in the story of Saudi unity. The crossed swords recall the battles fought to unify the kingdom, while the palm reminds citizens of the sustenance drawn from their land, date palms, water, and the resilience of the desert. The 25 Halalas coin is lightweight, with a diameter of approximately 20 millimeters and a mass of around 4 grams. It's minted from nickel-plated steel, giving it both durability and a glossy silver sheen. Nickel plating was chosen for more than aesthetics. It provides resistance to corrosion, ensures longevity in circulation, and is suitable for vending machines and automated systems. Unlike heavily ornate coins of the past, the 25 Halalas 1438 embraces functional minimalism, yet it maintains clear cultural motifs, clean Arabic typography, Islamic year placement, and the official emblem, all executed with balance and respect. In a wallet filled with change, the 25 Halalas coin is easy to identify, quick to distinguish by touch or glance, serving both aesthetic value and public practicality. It's easy to overlook a coin in daily life, but pause and look again. The 25 Halalas coin of 1438 is a pocket-sized portrait of a nation, 1 foot in the future, one firmly rooted in tradition. Its design tells a story in metal of identity, sovereignty, and quiet elegance. Before a coin enters your pocket, before it jingles at the bottom of a drawer or disappears into a vending machine, it begins life in a place of fire, pressure, and precision. The 25 Halalas coin minted in 1438 AH, like all Saudi coins, is the result of modern minting technology, a blend of tradition, metallurgy, and machine mastery. Saudi Arabia established its own national minting facilities in 2007, marking a significant step in controlling its monetary infrastructure. Prior to that, most Saudi coins were produced abroad, in countries like the UK, South Korea, and the Netherlands. By the time the 25 Halalas 1438 coin was minted in 2016, Saudi Arabia had fully operational, state-of-the-art facilities. These high-security complexes are capable of producing millions of coins annually, from small halalas to full riyals. The material choice for the 25 halalas coin was nickel-plated steel, a practical alloy that balances cost efficiency, durability, and visual appeal. At its core, the coin is made from steel, strong, inexpensive, and widely available. The nickel plating adds a glossy silver appearance and resists corrosion from sweat, water, and time. Nickel not only extends the life of the coin in circulation but also keeps it visually consistent with other denominations, creating a unified aesthetic across Saudi coinage. Minting a coin is a choreography of heat, pressure, and precision. The process begins with the cutting of coin blanks, flat, round metal discs sliced from large metal sheets. These blanks are first punched out of metal rolls. Each disc is precisely measured for weight and diameter to ensure consistency. Next, they are annealed, heated to soften the metal, and then cleaned in chemical baths to remove any impurities or oxidation that might affect the final strike. After annealing, the blanks go through a process called upsetting, where their edges are raised to prepare them for striking. Finally, the blanks enter the striking press, where powerful machines, sometimes applying over 100 tons of pressure, imprint the design onto both sides of the coin in a fraction of a second. The dies used for striking are carefully engraved with the coin's design, Arabic numerals, national emblem, and dual calendar years, and are often replaced after a specific number of strikes to maintain clarity. Once minted, coins undergo rigorous quality checks. Technicians examine them for weight, size, edge smoothness, and design clarity. Coins that don't meet the standard are melted and recycled. Modern minting also uses automated scanning systems with cameras and sensors to detect even the slightest deviation from the template. Every coin that enters circulation must pass this strict inspection. Once approved, the 25 halalas coins are counted, sorted, and sent out to banks and commercial centers across the kingdom. Armored vehicles deliver them under high security, ensuring that Saudi commerce continues uninterrupted. The minting process doesn't end with distribution. Older or damaged coins are sometimes recalled, melted down, and recycled, especially when changes to the monetary system require redesigns or adjustments to metal composition. From raw steel to gleaming coin, the journey of the 25 halalas 1438 is a triumph of engineering and precision. In every coin lies a story, not just of design, but of craftsmanship, labor, and national pride. If design is the coin's face and minting is its birth, then circulation is its life, where metal meets meaning, where value becomes action. For the 25 halalas coin minted in 1438 AH, its real story began not in a minting press, but on the streets, in stores, and in the hands of millions of Saudis. In the winding alleys of a souk, in the air-conditioned halls of a supermarket, or at a corner tea stall, the 25 halalas coin serves a humble yet essential role. Whether paying for a plastic bag, rounding out change for groceries, or covering a vending machine purchase, it lives in the tiny but constant transactions that form daily life. In retail, the 25 halalas coin frequently appears as the perfect fraction, a quarter of a rial, filling the crucial space between smaller denominations like the 5 and 10 halalas, and the larger 50 and full rial. Why does the 25 halalas coin matter so much? Because in a pricing system based on rials and fractions thereof, businesses often list prices ending in 0.25, 0.50, or 0.75, making this coin a cornerstone of transactional precision. Without it, stores would either need to round prices, awkwardly or constantly over-rely on smaller coins, disrupting the flow of small change and creating pricing inconsistencies. In urban transport systems, buses, taxis, metro ticket machines, the 25 Halalas coin also plays a key role. Before digital wallets became widespread, this coin was a common companion for commuters, offering just the right amount to top off fares or purchase tickets. From university campuses to hospital lobbies, vending machines throughout the kingdom are calibrated to accept this coin. Its size and nickel-plated steel composition make it machine-readable, ensuring smooth, reliable acceptance in automated systems. In many Saudi families, giving children coins for small treats remains a cherished cultural moment, a way of teaching value, math, and generosity. The 25 Halalas coin often finds its way into these moments, light in value, rich in memory. Banks frequently distribute this denomination in rolls for businesses that need exact change, bakeries, grocers, fuel stations, and more. In fact, many retailers keep small coin drawers exclusively for Halalas, with 25s forming a significant portion. As digital payments grow, especially in urban centers, some might assume the days of coins are numbered. Yet in many parts of Saudi Arabia, especially in rural areas, smaller shops, and among older generations, coins like the 25 Halalas still circulate regularly. Old habits persist, and for good reason. Coins require no battery, no signal, and no PIN. They are universally accepted, instantly trusted, and quietly efficient. For the student, it's a leftover from a lunch purchase. For the shopkeeper, it's the exact change needed to balance the drawer. For the taxi driver, it rounds out a fare without fuss. In each case, the 25 Halalas coin is invisible, until it isn't, until its absence would disrupt the rhythm of the transaction. While it may not carry the prestige of a rial note or the heft of a gold coin, the 25 Halalas minted in 1438 lives on, not as a collector's item or ceremonial piece, but as something better, a living part of the everyday Saudi story. The 2010s marked a decade of profound transformation for Saudi Arabia, economically, culturally, and financially. As part of this shift, the kingdom undertook a sweeping monetary reform, one that would redefine how its currency was structured, circulated, and symbolized. At the heart of this change was a simple, gleaming coin, the 25 Halalas of 1438 AH. With the launch of Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia began laying the foundation for a post-oil economy, one focused on diversification, efficiency, and sustainability. This required recalibrating nearly every sector, including monetary policy and coinage. Lower global oil prices had caused a significant budget shortfall. The government responded by re-evaluating subsidies, taxation, and perhaps most noticeably, the currency system. For decades, the 1 rial existed as a banknote, a staple of cash transactions. But over time, it became clear these notes were costly to produce and quick to wear out. In 2017, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, SAMA, officially began the transition to coin-based denominations for values under 5 rials. The goal was durability, efficiency, and improved cost-effectiveness. As part of the 6th issue of the Saudi currency, SAMA introduced a newly designed set of coins. These included Halalas in 1, 5, 10, 25, and 50 denominations, along with a newly issued 2 rials coin. Each coin bore updated aesthetics, improved security features, and a uniform modern look. The 25 Halalas coin, once an auxiliary denomination, now became essential, bridging gaps left by the fading 1 rial note. Another motive for monetary reform was the gradual impact of inflation. Though modest by global standards, even minor inflation affects currency utility. The 25 Halalas coin, equivalent to a quarter rial, helped anchor smaller price points and ensured that denominations remained relevant to real-world transactions. Retailers had long relied on psychological pricing, ending prices in 0.25, 0.50, or 0.75 to appeal to consumers. A reliable mid-range denomination, like the 25 Halalas coin, was essential for maintaining this structure without constant rounding. Although the kingdom has aggressively pursued digital payment platforms, Particularly during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, coins remain essential, especially among older generations, in less urbanized regions, and in specific sectors like public transport, food stalls, and municipal services. The reforms never aimed to eliminate coins, but to strengthen them, to modernize and standardize physical money alongside the rise of fintech solutions. The 2010s reforms also brought uniformity to coin size, weight, and thickness, ensuring smoother compatibility with vending machines, cash counters, and banking systems. The 25 Halalas coin was struck at approximately 20 mm in diameter and 4 grams in weight, using nickel-plated steel, a choice informed by both economic rationale and technological consistency. Coinage reform included subtle but effective anti-counterfeiting measures. Even low-value coins like the 25 Halalas were designed with specific edge treatments, font consistency, and die pressure standards to prevent forgery. As part of the coin rollout, SAMA initiated public awareness campaigns explaining the benefits of coins, showing how to distinguish the new designs, and encouraging the use of coins for small transactions. Special rolls were distributed to banks, retail outlets, and public institutions, and millions of Saudis encountered the new 25 Halalas coin, sometimes for the first time, during routine shopping, travel, or even as Eid change. The monetary reforms of the 2010s were not just about coins or cash. They were about future-proofing an economy. The 25 Halalas coin of 1438 emerged not as a leftover of the past, but as a symbol of fiscal intelligence, reform, and national planning. Durable, practical, and precisely timed. A coin is more than currency. It is a mirror, reflecting the heart of a nation, the soul of a people, and the continuity of culture. The 25 Halalas coin, minted in 1438 AH, carries with it more than monetary value. It carries symbolic weight, carefully chosen imagery and language that bind past, present, and future together in metal. The reverse of the coin is crowned with the emblem of the kingdom, a palm tree rising above, 2 crossed swords. On this small circle of steel, we find an entire ethos. The swords represent justice and strength, the resolve with which King Abdulaziz unified the tribes and founded the modern kingdom in 1932. The palm tree symbolizes life, growth, and prosperity, a nod to the land's natural resources and its enduring culture. This emblem, first officially adopted in 1950, isn't just decorative. It is a distilled national narrative, the power to defend and the grace to nourish, engraved together. The coin speaks in the language of the land, Arabic, with the inscription across the top. It states its origin boldly and beautifully. Arabic, as both sacred script and national tongue, ties the coin directly to Islamic heritage and Arabian culture. Even the numbers, both Gregorian and Hijri, are written in Arabic numerals, affirming the nation's linguistic independence. Where Western coins often borrow Latin or English, Saudi coins remain rooted in their own linguistic soil, reflecting the cultural importance of Arabic not just as a communication tool, but as a vessel of identity. Unlike most countries, Saudi Arabia uses both the Hijri and Gregorian calendar on its coins, but with the Hijri date taking precedence. This Islamic lunar calendar dates from the migration of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from Mecca to Medina in 622 CE. The presence of the year, 1438 AH, on the coin links it directly to Islamic history and timekeeping, reinforcing the kingdom's role as guardian of the 2 holy mosques and center of the Islamic world. Though not shown literally on the coin, the imagery of the palm tree evokes more than prosperity. It symbolizes resilience. The palm thrives where life struggles, drawing water from deep within barren lands. Just like the palm, the Saudi people have flourished in the harshest of environments, building cities, industries, and global influence from the sands of the Arabian Peninsula. Coins are tools of sovereignty. From ancient dynasties to modern republics, rulers have always stamped their power onto currency. In the absence of a monarch's portrait, the Saudi coin's emphasis on national emblems and language speaks volumes. It is the kingdom that speaks here, not a single man, but the collective rule, heritage, and vision of the House of Saud. Unlike many coins that feature human faces or mythological symbols, Saudi coins remain austere and respectful of Islamic principles. There are no idols, no animals, no portraits, only symbols that align with the kingdom's Islamic values. Scene: children learning Islamic values in school, elders praying, the coin being handed between generations. This minimalism is not mere design choice, it is a theological and cultural statement. The 25 Halalas coin reflects a worldview where modesty is beauty, and where function is harmony with faith. Most Saudis never think twice about the coins they use, but in each 25 Halalas, they carry a piece of their country. It is patriotism in your pocket, offered not with fanfare but with quiet pride. The 25 Halalas coin of 1438 isn't flashy. It doesn't beg for attention, but in its silence, it speaks loudly of faith, unity, heritage, and hope. In its compact form lies the entire spirit of a nation. The 25 Halalas coin of 1438 AH may seem ordinary, but it stands at a crossroads in time. To appreciate its place in Saudi monetary history, we must look both backward and forward, comparing it with the Halalas that came before, and those that would follow. The halala was first introduced in 1963 as part of the decimalization of the Saudi riyal, which was divided into 100 halalas, instead of 20 kirsh. This change aligned Saudi Arabia with international currency standards and simplified transactions for a growing population. The earliest 25 halalas coins, issued in the late 1960s and 1970s, were larger and heavier than their modern counterparts. Often struck from cupra nickel, they had a distinctive pale silver look and featured similar elements: the national emblem, denomination, and the name of the kingdom. The shift to nickel-plated steel in the 1438 coin was not just a cost-saving measure. It reflected changes in global minting practices, prioritizing durability, cost efficiency, and machine readability. Design-wise, Saudi coins have always remained respectful of tradition, but gradually shifted toward cleaner typography and minimalist layouts. Earlier 25 halalas coins often had more ornate calligraphy, while the 1438 version leans into functional elegance, a crisp modern font with maximum legibility. Even the kingdom's emblem has been subtly refined: cleaner lines, balanced spacing, and laser-sharp engraving in the newer mintings. The newer 1438 25 halalas coin, despite its lighter feel, actually performs better over time. Nickel-plated steel resists corrosion and wear, particularly in Saudi Arabia's hot and humid coastal cities. Older coins, while heavier and perhaps more premium in feel, tended to tarnish and wear out faster, especially those from the 1970s and 1980s. The 1438 coin was part of a broader transition moment, replacing the one real note and re-establishing halalas as essential tools of daily trade. Coins minted in subsequent years, like 1440 or 1443, retained the same core design but occasionally exhibited minor refinements, brighter plating, deeper engraving, improved die pressure. In terms of weight, size, and function, the 25 halalas coin has remained consistent since 2016, a sign that the 1438 version hit the mark for efficiency and usability. For many older citizens, the heavier 25 halalas of the past carry a sense of nostalgia, memories of a time when 25 halalas could buy a cup of tea or a bus ride. Younger generations, however, are more likely to see the 2016 version as standard, practical, lightweight, and consistent with modern transaction systems. In terms of availability, the 1438 coin remains common, widely circulated, easy to find, and still in use. Older editions, however, are slowly vanishing from everyday life, making them more attractive to collectors. The 25 halalas coin minted in the 1980s or earlier now commands modest premiums among hobbyists, especially those in mint condition. From the weighty cupra nickel of decades, past to the efficient, nickel-plated steel of today, the 25 halalas coin tells a story of evolution, not just in metal and design, but in how Saudi Arabia sees itself: adaptive, resilient, and always looking forward while honoring the past.